And welcome everybody to the Spotlight with Sarah. We are at a VIA Transit Center at Babcock and Medical. This is one of 7 transit centers across the city, helping to move countless people around the city to where they need to go. This can be a very busy place, especially here in the medical center, where many of the travelers are either essential workers who are going to work in the medical field, or they are people going to and from their doctor's appointments, and the only way they can get around is with VIA. Now, many of the people in the last year, VIA logged 36.1 million trips in the city of San Antonio. Moving people around is what they've been doing since 1978. But now VIA has reached a critical point. They have been working closely with the public, the city of San Antonio, and Bexar County to create a plan that's going to help our region. The plan is called Keep SA Moving, and it's designed to improve the transit system by expanding trip options, investing in capital projects, exploring new technology, and putting resources where they are needed. The plan is going to be presented to you, the voters, on the November 3rd ballot. Now, here's more on what VIA needs to help maintain and improve its current transit system.
The proposal is we're asking the citizens of San Antonio to shift a 1/8 cent sales tax that's currently being assessed from what it's currently being used for to VIA Metropolitan Transit and the Advanced Transportation District for improvements to our public transit system.
If it's passed, what does the future of VIA look like?
If it's passed, the future of VIA is very bright. What our biggest improvement will be reducing the number of routes that are 30 minutes or more. We will have no more routes eventually that take longer than 30 minutes to wait for a bus. That's going to be a major game changer. That's going to reduce wait times for people that already use the system, and it's going to make it more convenient for people who would like to use the system. We're also going to be expanding our Mobility on Demand program, which is an Uber-like program. It's you have an app and you contact and you say, I'd like to get picked up, and there are pickup and drop-off points. It's more of a point-to-point service. We're going to expand that from the northeast of San Antonio, where we're having it now, to the UTSA area.
And if I could turn over to John Gary, why is it important for people to vote for this referendum?
So investment in transportation and transit is really an investment in the economy because the number one reason folks utilize transit today and will in the future is to get to their jobs. It's the number one reason, to get people to jobs, to further our economy. So the more we can expand that opportunity for the community, the better off everybody would be. Secondly, we got a lot of people coming to San Antonio. They're expecting over 1 million more people coming into San Antonio by 2040. Well, we're going to have to move those people around. And our transportation network is going to be stressed. So we want to have the mobility options for folks to take. If they are going to have an option to take transit versus having to drive a vehicle. So at least there's that option for folks and for that future 1 million people that are coming to San Antonio.
And it is important for especially like new companies, new corporations when they consider moving here, right?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that they're looking for is how easily the workforce can get to their location to work, and also what is the ability and cost for the workforce in order to afford getting to their facility as well.
A lot of people have to go across town. They don't live necessarily in the neighborhood.
That's true. That's true. And speaking of cross town, that's the other investment that we'd like to make, is to improve travel times. We want to be able to offer a viable option to the vehicle, to a car, let's say. Well, if we're going to be a viable option to a car, we want to be able to get you delivered quickly. And that's about 45 minutes generally. Folks will like to live and work and play within a 45-minute radius on a vehicle, that is. So that's something also that a transit system should be able to deliver, is that type of speed and convenience.
All right. So what do you have to say to folks out there who are going to be voting on November 3rd or early voting?
Well, Keep San Antonio Moving. We even have a website set up for that, keepsamoving.com, where they can learn more about what the plan is for VIA and the future, should they elect to invest in this opportunity.
Now, this is going to be the last item on the ballot.
That's true. For City San Antonio citizens, it will be the last item. So stay with us, as they say, and they can indeed get to that item.
So keepsamoving.com. That is the website where you can find out more information. You know, there's a group of leaders behind this effort trying to educate the public on what their proposal is all about. Now, I am the honorary chair of the Say Yes to Transit Committee because I feel that public transportation is a critical element of any city that wants to grow and wants its community to prosper. I'm going to bring in John Agather. He is also on the Say Yes to Transit Committee, and you've been talking to business leaders across town about this proposal. What is the message you're sharing, John?
Well, basically what I'm saying is, for those that are not aware of it, San Antonio transportation has been neglected to a certain extent for several years now. We've put off investing in VIA, where if you look at the person that wants that dream job or they want to go to college, largely the biggest impediment that comes between them and those opportunities is having a ride. And not everybody can afford a car, and certainly not everybody can afford Uber and Lyft. So having a meaningful public transportation system is the number one priority that we have right now for economic recovery and development in San Antonio.
So it's very important that we have that support for VIA.
Absolutely. And so let me just say, on November the 3rd, as you go through the ballot, you're going to see that there's going to be many, many things that you have to vote on. We're all tired of the politics. I get it. I understand. But this is a really critical election, not only because it's a presidential election, but in terms of San Antonio, there are 18 pages or something like that on the ballot. You have to go through the whole thing. And when it comes to the VIA sales tax, please vote yes. It's really critical for us to keep San Antonio not only moving now, but moving in the future.
Very important, very true. Thank you very much, John. We're going to be talking to John a little bit more during the show, so don't go away, okay? Okay. Sure, now, as voters, a lot of you may have questions about how the plan is going to play out and what we are paying for. So share your comments and questions with us on this video. This is the first of several shows that we're going to be doing about Keep SA Moving and the plan, and answering your questions so that you can head to the polls and make the most informed decision when you cast your ballot. Now, who does this mobility plan affect? Well, thousands of San Antonians rely on VIA to get to and from work, school, healthcare appointments, grocery shopping, community events, and so many other vital activities. Here is a snapshot of just a few of the folks that rely on VIA to get around.
The COVID-19 stay-home order. I work the second shift, so for me, getting the VIA has been a little bit struggle because I come in during the rush hour. So I'm coming in during the busiest time. So my process through 3 buses to get to work, which is not a problem. VIA is a very good service. I've always had, my buses were always on time. During this stay home time, it's been a little bit hard. It's been a little bit hard because of the Sunday schedule, once an hour. So it's kind of hard to get to work or get home from work because I get off so early in the morning, sometimes at 5, 4, 7, depending on what time. That sometimes it's harder for me to get home, but I still, sometimes I have to wait a couple of hours just to get the bus home, but they're always here on time, even though it just takes a couple of hours during this time.
Oh, I use it to go for groceries and to the Walmarts and HEBs and things to the doctors like Audie Murphy or Frank Tejeda like I'm doing today. So it's been very helpful for me, especially with surgeries in my ears. I can't drive anymore for quite some time. So I'm grateful to the good Lord that put VIA there and got a great company, I think, that's really doing a great job for a lot of the old folks, but for everyone. So I hope everything works out for them on this, whatever they decide on the taxes or whatnot.
Riding VIA to Goodhart for 7.5 years. I have no vehicle, so VIA is the only way that I can get to and from work or any other place that I want to go throughout the state.
Araujo, what do you use VIA for, and is it important for you to be able to get around?
It is for my medical appointments. Yeah, it's reliable. So, I mean, for me it is. Yeah.
What would you do if you didn't have the VIA service available to you?
I'd be screwed. Yeah, I'd be screwed. I wouldn't be able to get around because I don't have no transportation. So I think it's good to me.
I take it to go to appointments. I take it to go to school. It helps me get around. If we didn't have it, I don't know how I would get to and from where I need to go.
What kind of appointments do you have?
I'm disabled, but the guidelines of Bexar County, they're strict. So right now I'm waiting for a hearing. But with the coronavirus, things are happening. It's making it harder for us to get where we need to do.
What has been the hardest part, the challenging part about riding the bus during the pandemic?
It's sometimes, actually, I haven't run into too much of a problem. You know, the 16 max, sometimes it's happened to me once where the bus was packed up earlier, but it's sort of settled down pretty good. And it feels good that somehow none of the bus drivers are really doing a great job, you know, and the people who are working out the schedules is really a wonderful thing. So I'm happy for everything that's happening. You get a few people that get a little difficult and try not to wear their masks, you know. But other than that, I haven't had, the bus drivers have really been great in these times. And so thank God for that, too.
What have been some of the challenges of taking the bus with the pandemic?
Sometimes the time is different. You might want to take it earlier because of the time change. There's fewer people that can ride. So you have to wait for another bus because it's full to capacity. Other than that, I mean, we're thankful it's still running and we can get it on and off.
What if you didn't have VIA?
I don't have no car. I don't drive. So if we didn't have VIA, I don't know how I would get to my appointments because it's just me and my mom in our household and we don't have no way of getting around. So I think VIA is really important to this community.
So as you saw there, everyone from essential workers to retired military veterans to disabled citizens and people that need to go to work every day rely on VIA public transportation. But for years, San Antonio has not funded its public transit system the way other cities get funded. We dedicate just half of the sales tax portion that Austin, Houston, and Dallas get on their transit systems. And John Agatha, that's just not going to work for San Antonio.
It's not. And you know, one thing we should be grateful for is the infrastructure that we do have. We don't have the traffic jams that a Dallas or Houston, and especially Austin, have. So that's great. We've done a good job of planning for the future from a terrestrial standpoint, except for the public transport part of the equation. So it's really critical that we allow people, particularly, not everybody can afford a car, not everybody can afford a cab. It's really critical that we have affordable public transportation. And so this November 3rd, once again, this is such a critical election. Go all the way through to the ballot and make sure that you vote yes to keep San Antonio moving. And thank you, Sarah, for everything you're doing to inform the San Antonio public, because this is a very critical election and the most critical issue for us.
Thank you so much, John. And once again, voting for this proposition, Prop A on the ballot, is going to maintain and improve VIA service, benefit all San Antonians by playing a vital role in our pandemic recovery, our economic recovery, and our long-term prosperity. So don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to hear from some of the people who work at VIA and are not only invested in their jobs, they are invested in their community.
We are Vote Yes for Transit, a coalition of San Antonians from all walks of life, all sides of town, and both sides of the political aisle, who all agree maintaining and improving VIA transit services is essential to San Antonio. A yes vote keeps San Antonio moving by getting essential healthcare, food service, and other workers to their jobs, helps make us more economically competitive with other cities, and will connect more San Antonians to education, healthcare, and opportunity as our city recovers and reopens. No matter what side of town you live on, no matter where you work, no matter how you vote, and whether you ride VIA regularly, sometimes, or not at all, voting yes for transit is good for you and good for all of San Antonio.
And welcome back. Well, there are many reasons to vote yes for the VIA proposal. Another reason, well, VIA is an agency that is dedicated to the people that it serves. The staff who work at VIA don't just go there to collect a paycheck. They feel a connection to the community. They are part of what makes VIA feel more than just the bus that they take to work. Now, here are some of those outstanding workers who love what they do and are also urging you to vote for VIA's proposition on the ballot.
I've been a bus operator for 8 years, and it's I like it a lot. I enjoy my passengers. I enjoy my job. It's different from what I used to do, certainly, but I enjoy working with the public.
What's been the most rewarding thing about working with the public as an operator?
Well, I make a joke out of it because I feel like I get a company vehicle. I get to drive a company vehicle. I get a view of the city. I have an office view of the city, and I get to work one-on-one with my passengers. So I think that's rewarding.
What is it like getting to know your riders?
Well, when you get to know your riders, you anticipate their needs, like the elderly. I know the ones that I have to go an extra mile for by helping them with their groceries sometimes when they can't get on the bus with their groceries. I know when I pull up to them, I know to kneel the bus already for them and make sure that they're okay and that they're safe.
So a lot of people don't always think about being an operator requires going above and beyond just driving the bus.
Exactly. But our job, it takes on all kinds of scenarios. Sometimes people get on and they want to talk. Although we're really not supposed to talk to our passengers, sometimes it's hard not to because we feel for them. They want to tell us personal things that they're going through. Some of them lose their jobs, and it's challenging for them. And then other times we have to help them get on the bus. We have wheelchair folks and different things, children, and just different things like that.
What has been most challenging about driving the bus during the pandemic?
I think the most challenging thing is trying to continue to be a good servant to the public. Although we're restricted to 16 passengers, sometimes it's hard to pass other people up because we're already at our capacity for safety reasons. It's hard because we know a lot of them are going to work, going to the grocery store, going to the hospital. So that can be challenging, and also still being able to adhere to a schedule, even though we might have traffic problems as well.
Okay. And would you change anything about your time at VIA so far?
Nope, I wouldn't. I've enjoyed my my career at VIA, and I have no complaints, really. I enjoy my job, I really do.
What has that career been like for you?
I've been an operator for 5 years, and it's really rewarding. I like dealing with the public. Our passengers are really sweet, and it's really rewarding because you get people to where they need to go and try to get them there on time. It's really easy to get to know them. When you speak to them and you ask them where they're going, what do they need, they'll tell you. They'll let you know and how to get somewhere. You tell them where they need to go, which bus route is the best route to get there. It's really, really rewarding, and they will tell you everything, and it's really nice to know who you're dealing with and who's on your bus.
What's been most challenging about operating a bus during the pandemic?
The most challenging is trying to keep it on schedule, then the distance between people, and just one of the main things is because we're limited to 16 for safety, is trying to get everybody, because we do have to pass up some people, and that's really a challenge. That's really hard to do. We do change our signs on the bus, and it does say, at safe capacity, so they do know what that is. And then we do wave them to let them know that we can't. But it's just with sometimes it being so hot, and then if it's raining, to just pass people up in this weather, it's really difficult to do that. I definitely see it getting better. I noticed there's more people now will take the bus because of traffic, because there's so much traffic now, and the buses are so much convenient. We have the free Wi-Fi on there, so you get people on there, they're doing their jobs. The college students get on there doing their homework because they have the Wi-Fi, and they don't want to sit in traffic all day, so they get on the bus, and it's easier for them to commute.
How many people do you get on there with bicycles or scooters?
We get people with the bicycles. They're definitely, they get tired, or tires are pop, and they'll definitely get to where they're going, and they'll get on the bus to ride the bus to the next place.
Just two of the great ladies that I met who love what they do and love serving their community, always going above and beyond what is expected of them. as Via bus operators. Now, as you heard, one of the things that was very hard for them was driving a bus during the pandemic was the reduced schedules and also the limited number of people on the bus. You know, they had to pass up somebody who was waiting for the bus at the bus stop because they were at capacity on the bus because of safety reasons. But if you vote yes for Via's Keep SA Moving plan, you're going to help the transit service with an existing sales tax. There would be no sales tax increase. So voting for Prop A is going to help increase ridership, reduce congestion, fuel economic growth, and benefit all San Antonians and our local economy. Now, speaking of increasing ridership, one of the features that Via implemented a few years back was bike racks on the buses, accommodating people who use bicycles for their commute to work or wherever they need to go around town. Now, bus driver Tammy Sims told us that she sees quite a few people with bicycles that ride on her buses. And even Via executive Ezra Johnson uses a bicycle to commute as part of also riding Via to get to work for his life. So maybe you thought about it, but you thought you were a little intimidated, didn't know how it worked. Well, we're going to talk to Tammy and also to Ezra. They're going to show us just how easy it is to ride the bus with a bike.
I haven't ever found it to be complicated at all. I frequently use a bicycle when I ride the bus. You load your bike on the rack in the front of the bus before you get on. You make sure it's secure. The bus driver waits for you.
We get people with the bicycles. They're definitely, they get tired or tires are pop, and they'll definitely get to where they're going, and they'll get on the bus to ride the bus to the next place. It's very simple. The racks just come down, they place their bike up and put the bar on, and then they're on the bus.
Do they need to bring some sort of equipment to do it, or is it all on the bus?
It's all on the bus, no equipment at all.
And do you ever have to get down and help them put it on there?
Sometimes if they don't understand how it works, we'll get off the bus and I'll show them how it works.
All right. And is it extra to bring a bike on?
No, it's not extra. Same price.
Explanatory. You just put the rack down, you put your bike on. It's a one catch system. It's very easy. It's much simpler than your bike rack that you put on the back of a car, and you just get on and go. It's really easy.
So for example, where have you gone when you're using your bike to get around on the bus?
Well, I use my bike as a first mile, last mile. When I was typically when I was riding to work, when I worked downtown, I would need the bike to get me to where the bus was going to go from my house. So that was about a mile in each direction, and so that's how I use the bike to make my trip a lot faster.
And you may recall how Ezra Johnson mentioned during the show that Via is committed to making it more available, public transit more available to people who have that first and last mile need to get to their destinations and use bicycles or want to use bicycles. Now, speaking of how Via is committed to the community, the transit agency and its staff really stepped it up during the pandemic to help San Antonians who need it most. Check out how they collaborated with the San Antonio Food Bank to make sure families could put food on their table.
Via partnered with the San Antonio Food Bank at the beginning of the stay-at-home orders to make sure homebound residents wouldn't go hungry during these challenging times. Via Bus and Via Trans operators have delivered more than 5,100 boxes. That's about 142,000 meals throughout San Antonio. Every box contained enough food and supplies to feed a family of 4 for a week. The San Antonio Food Bank serves an estimated 60,000 people each week, and that was before the coronavirus shuttered hundreds of businesses and thousands of jobs, leaving many with little resources and few options. On May 5th, Via Cares volunteers helped support the San Antonio Food Bank's crisis relief food distribution at Traders Village. The crisis relief events help feed thousands of local families who are struggling to make ends meet during the COVID-19 crisis. On 4th of July weekend, Via operators delivered 160 plates of food to the veterans at the American GI Forum National Veterans Outreach Program. For the Via operators helping that weekend, the event was extra meaningful because they are all also U.S. military veterans.
San Antonio prosperity is about coming together as a community. That's what makes us different from other cities. When there is a need, everybody pitches in. So remember, we are asking you to vote yes on November 3rd. Vote yes for transit on the ballot. And tell your friends and colleagues why it's important. And also like and share the Vote for Transit media pages, post on your own page why you support this proposition. And also you can make a donation to this effort at the voteyesfortransit.com page. Now, VIA has a lot of plans for improved schedules, essential services, busy routes, as well as improving the technology and innovation. In fact, they want to talk about upgrading and expanding their VIA Link app, which is their version of an Uber-like app that VIA uses. We're going to be talking more about that in our next Spotlight with Sarah live stream show. So the conversation about VIA public transit is just beginning. In fact, coming up next at 7 o'clock, VIA is going to be hosting a virtual town hall on the Keep SA Moving Facebook page. So head on over there and ask questions and find out more about what's happening. Also, share this post on your page and let us know where you stand on this issue. Put your comments on this page. Remember, this is about the future of San Antonio and connecting people with better mobility, which in turn leads to more opportunities for everyone. So thank you so much for watching the Spotlight with Sarah, and help keep San Antonio moving on November 3rd. Good night, everybody. See you next time.